Hey guys, my name is Rahul Shah and I welcome you once again to this YouTube channel where my goal is still pretty much the same. It is to make investing accessible and profitable for the average investor. Now, earlier this year, January, Feb 2020, in one of the strategies that I run for Equity Master, I had asked my subscribers to move 75% of their corpus into cash and remain invested in stocks only to the extent of 25%. Yes, as much as 75% of the money was asked to be moved into cash and keep only 25% in stocks. Now, the reasons for this, were twofold. Number one, the broader markets were expensive from a valuation perspective. The Sensex price to earnings multiple was around 29, 30 times, which is in terms of percentile in the 90th percentile category, where only 10% of the time Sensex has traded at a price to earnings multiple of more than 29, 30 times, and 90% of the times it has traded at a price to earnings multiple of 29 times, which was the multiple back then. So there was a strong chance that the markets could correct over the next 12 to 18 months. Another reason was, there weren't a lot of decent quality stocks that were available around book value valuations. Now, what I mean by this is, one indicator of the overall attractiveness of the broader market is how many decent quality stocks are available around close to their book values or below the book values. If the number is very low, say 25, 30 names out of 5,000, 6,000 stocks that are traded in the BSE exchange, if only a handful of those are trading below book value or decent quality stocks, then it's a sign that the markets are expensive, and that was the case in Jan-Feb 2020. Very few stocks, decent quality stocks, were trading below book value, around book value. If the number is high, say in the region of 250 to 300 such stocks which trade around book value, then that's a sign that the markets are cheap and they could go on to give good returns over the next 12 to 18 months. So both these indicators are flashing red, and that's why I made that recommendation of being only 75% in cash. Then, of course, the pandemic struck the world. There was a global market meltdown. The Sensex crashed 40% from its top. BSE Small Cap Index was down 40-50%, and it was, within weeks the situation changed completely. From being expensively valued, the Sensex valuations fell to 17, 18 times, which meant that it was in the attractive category. When you invest in Sensex at a multiple of 17, 18 times, there is a strong chance that you make good money over the next 1 to 2 years. So what this 40% fall did was it made turn the Sensex from being expensive to attractive. Second indicator, the number of decent quality stocks that were trading around book value valuations, that number also went up significantly from 25 to 30 such stocks, say Jan-Feb 2020. The number of such stocks which are trading around book value, they went up to around 250, 300 names. So both these indicators, they sort of gave the signal that it's a very good time to invest in the stock market. And over the next 2-3 months, between March and June 2020, I made a flurry of recommendations because I felt the stock markets were attractive from a 12 to 18-month perspective. And the way the stock market has moved, my recommendations have also done quite well. On an average, each recommendation is up 40 to 50% from its recommended price. This is true for most good decent quality companies. Anyone who'd invested in the stock market in April, May 2020, would be sitting on some very decent gains right now. Now, what has happened is, because of the sharp rebound, the markets have again moved into the expensive territory. If you look at the Sensex valuations, it has again gone back to 27, 28 times, which means it has again entered the expensive territory. But there are still quite a lot of stocks in the small micro cap category which are still trading around book value, decent quality stocks which are still trading around book value, and which is why I have not changed my exposure a great deal. It is still 75% in stocks and 75% in 75% stocks, 25% cash. So Jan Feb 2020, I was 25% in stocks, 75% in cash, and right now it's reversed because of the recommendations I made. Because of the market fall, it is 75% stocks and 25% cash. Of course, the markets could go on to correct from here, they could fall sharply, but I'm not worried because I'm 25% in cash. And if the markets fall, then I would fall less than the market, and I'll also have that extra 25% cash to deploy into stocks if more stocks become attractive. And if the markets were to go up from here, then my 75% stock allocation, that will also go up now, and my subscribers will benefit from this move in the market. So it is the best of both worlds, if you ask me. Now you would have noticed the last few minutes I have not mentioned the broader economy even once. I have not made a mention of the sorry state that the economy is in right now. uh, the first quarter GDP numbers are out, and then they don't look very good. In fact, I think this is the first time in 40 years that India will record negative GDP growth rate. I think the last time this happened was in 1980. So why is it that I increased my exposure to stocks, to as much as 75%, despite the economy in such a bad shape? The simple reason is, stock market is a leading indicator of what happens in the broader economy. If you go back to the previous crisis, 2007 2008 crisis, uh, GDP I think fell from 8-9% to around 4-5% in 2008, but it showed up fully in the GDP numbers of 2008. So December March 2008, the GDP growth rate, for the previous year, fell from 8% to 4%. But the market started falling start 2008. So there was a 12 month gap. Market predicted what's going to happen to the economy 12 years earlier. So sorry, 12 months earlier. So start of 2007 the market started falling, and it reflected in the GDP numbers around end 2008. Similarly, when the markets recovered, I think the market started recovering early 2009, and the recovery reflected itself or showed up in the GDP numbers of 2000 and 2009. So start 2009 the market started recovering, and end 2009 it showed up in the GDP numbers. And something similar happened this time also. Markets cracked 40% March 2020, and this will reflect in the GDP numbers of March 2021. So there is again a 12-month gap. Market had already predicted that GDP would look in very bad shape in 2021, and that's why the markets had fallen 40%. But what has surprised everyone this time around is the sharp recovery. In the previous crisis, it took 12 months for the markets to fall, and then it recovered in the next 12 months. This time around, the fall has come in a matter of few weeks, and the recovery is also come very, very quickly. So the markets fell 40%, and it's again recovered 40-45%. And this is one of the reasons that you should not go and try to time the market. You should not try and find the bottom of the market. The moment the market falls 40% from the top, you should start increasing your exposure to stocks. It can be a gradual exposure. I took slightly more risk, and that's why I shifted the allocation completely from 25% to 75%. But if you don't have a very high risk appetite, if you're willing to be patient and wait, then that 25% exposure would have perhaps become 50% exposure and not 75%. So within this 25-75, you have that leeway to change your allocation based on your risk appetite. Because my risk appetite, or I wanted to take slightly higher risk, I shifted the allocation to 75%. If you did not want to take that kind of a risk, you would have maybe shifted the allocation to 50%. But it was very important that you took some exposure to stocks when the market fell 40% when on account of the coronavirus pandemic. That taking that small exposure was very, very important, because you were sitting in cash in March 2020 75%, and when the markets cracked 30-40%, it became attractive. There was a good opportunity for you to take exposure to stocks. So there were some comments in my previous video as to why I keep moving in and out of stocks like this. Why take that 25%, 75% exposure, and why not have 100% exposure and have a buy and hold approach? The reason is that you need to have certain edge, some kind of an edge in the market if you are to beat the market over the long term. Buy and hold is good, but if you're looking to earn market like returns, then buy and hold is the strategy that you should follow. Have a portfolio of good quality 25-30 stocks, and then keep holding on to them for the long term. But if you take this approach, then you essentially doing what the rest of the market is doing, and there's a very strong chance that your returns will not be significantly better than what the rest of the market is giving. So buy and hold and having a portfolio of 25-30 stocks at best could give you 13-14% returns over the long term, which is what investing in the Sensex has given you. However, if you have to beat the market over the long term, you need to have a certain edge. You need to do things differently than the crowd, and which is why my preferred way of doing it is moving in and out of stocks based on overall market, the exposure to the broader market valuations. I think the edge that I'm trying to find out here is trying to lose less than the market in a bad year, and trying to equal perform or trying to perform as good as the market in a good year. So the way investing works is, if you lose less than the index in a bad year, so if the index is down 50%, and if you lose 25-30%, it's a very good performance. And over the long term, if you do this, if you lose less than the index in a bad year, and if there's a good year where the index earns 40-50%, and you earn almost as much as the index, then there's a very strong chance that you'll end up doing much better than the broader stock market. And this is why I always insist on having 75%, at least 25% in cash at all times. And when the markets are cheap, that can move up to the cash can go to as low as 25% and stocks to as high as 75%, and the markets are expensive, cash can go to 75% and stock can go to 25%. What this does is it ensures that when the markets crack, when the markets have a significant correction, which happens once every few years, you will end up losing less than the market. And in the longer term scheme of things, over a market cycle, you will end up outperforming the market by a significant margin. So this is the edge. Your edge could be different. Warren Buffett's edge was concentration. He believed in holding only 6-7 stocks, which he was highly confident upon, having a concentrated portfolio. My edge is not that. I'm trying to have a different kind of edge. I'm trying to have a Benjamin Graham kind of an edge, where you allocate, always have allocation between stocks and bonds, minimum 25% in each at all times, and then try to lose less than the market in a bad year and earn more than earn as much as or slightly less than the market in a good year. So this is the edge that I'm trying to have, and that's why that moving in and out of stocks and having those 75-25 allocation, and it has done well as far as my services are concerned. Over a 5 to 6 year period, the services that I run for Equity Master, one of the services, it has been able to beat the benchmark index by a comfortable margin by using this approach, which sort of has increased my confidence in the market beating ability of this approach. So coming back to the original question, that is this rally fake? Is this rally disconnected from reality? I do not think so. I think a recovery after the 40% fall was always on the cards. But what has happened this time around is the recovery has come much faster than expected. And there's a chance that, before the economy recovers, there could be another correction. But one should not, worry about it. One should have an approach, where one is trying to buy stocks, when it's trying to increase exposure to the stock market when the markets are turn cheap, and one is trying to reduce exposure to stocks when the markets become expensive. As long as you're not buying high and selling low, and as long as you are sort of buying low and selling high, you should not worry too much about what the underlying economy is doing or what people are saying about the stock market rally. You should stick to your plan. You should stick to your strategy, and I think you will end up doing well over the long term. So that's all from my side today. See you again next time. Thank you so much.